What's going on, creators? Yeah, just want to get on here and answer a question I got from a friend of the channel, and that is, Mike, I got all this music sitting on my hard drive. Is there any way to make supplemental income from that? And the answer is yes. And so today I just wanted to kind of go into detail on how to start to do that, because I've heard that many times throughout the years of like people sitting on all this material, all this stuff on their hard drive that's just doing nothing for them. And maybe in the past they were more active in music and kind of want to get back into that kind of lifestyle, that vibe. And so this is kind of to help do that. And so first step with going through some of your old material is to really start to finish it. Because that's the problem a lot of people have. They have all these starts and ideas, but then it's not really a completed project. And so you really want to dust this shit off, start remixing it, remastering it. Sometimes if you did it 10 years ago or 5 years ago, technology has advanced. There's better samples, there's better synthesizers, there's better sound quality that you can get. So start to remix, remaster, redo a lot of these old things and start to prepare them for today's marketplace. And when it comes to like music licensing, that's the realm I kind of has spent a lot of time in music licensing and publishing, and doing more commercial things like that. And so that's where my advice is coming from as far as like music publishing. A lot of times those old ideas that are sitting on your hard drive, if they're instrumentals, that works really well for licensing and publishing because you're having it play in the background over visuals. And so as you're mixing and mastering it, really keep that end use in mind. Maybe if you're doing video game music, for example, if you have like a video game gameplay or trailer or something of like a desired end scene where it's like, oh, this would work really well with like a basketball game, for example, and then you just have like a basketball trailer just playing on a loop as you're mixing and mastering so that everything is really geared towards that visual. Not only that, but then there's a lot of times that if you did it for like a TV show, there's going to be audio, there's going to be people talking over it, there's going to be all this shit going on over top of it. So like the stuff that might work on like an album, oh, I'm going to do a 15-minute experimental guitar solo with like a weird time signature, that might not be the right move. It's like it might work for like people that are into just listening to music, but it might not work as well in publishing. And so if you have some of those things in your old projects, as you're redoing them, keep a visual as you're doing it so that you can see what's kind of working and what's not working. And with that, kind of resist the urge to like, oh, I'm gonna just really just go off on a tangent and do a bunch of key changes and stuff. Yeah, maybe that will work or maybe not. But with that, you might be shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to someone that just needs some vibe over a visual. And so with that, you can also take your projects and break them down into like 30-second, 60-second, full-length track, stinger, a loop, just different variations of the same idea so that it has like multiple sets of value for people that are maybe making a commercial, maybe making just a little stinger, maybe a 15-second ad. Make it easy for people. And so, and that doing that will take one track to like 6 tracks, and so you can build up a little bit more opportunity for yourself if you don't have an extensive music library already produced. And so once you have the music geared and ready to go, ready for sync, ready for visuals, then you need to get your music in the hands of a good publisher. And there's 2 types of publishing models, one of which is non-exclusive, the other is exclusive, both of which have benefits, pros and cons. I've done videos on it before. You can probably hit the playlist and kind of get more in detail about that. Maybe put something in the description so you can just quickly go to that if that doesn't make a bunch of sense. But to recap the differences, non-exclusive means you can have your music with them and then somewhere else. Exclusive, it's only with that publisher. And in that, you can get more detailed of like, oh, it's exclusive for this many years, or in perpetuity, which is kind of sketchy. It just depends. But the benefit of like exclusive a lot of times is higher placement money, more placements that involve royalties. Because with music licensing and publishing, you get paid twice. Once up front, and the second time through broadcast royalties if your music is on an application that's broadcast. And so it kind of depends. A good place to research some of these places is the Music Library Report. Put a link in the description. It costs for like a week membership, but it's definitely worth it because it's a community of music producers that have rated these different publishers and libraries and shared their experiences. So you don't waste a bunch of time putting your music with a publisher that has no sales and no customers, and it's just going to be a waste of your time that you have to write descriptions for, tags, keywords, sometimes doing artwork, all this kind of shit. You want to make sure you're spending your energy doing something that's going to come back and be a benefit. And so check out the Music Library Report. Do some research. Pond 5 is a really good non-exclusive music library, and kind of like a marketplace. Pond 5, Luckstock, Audio Jungle. There's a handful of just like non-exclusive music libraries. A lot of them kind of function more of like almost like retail stores. Just big markets, and you can have a lot of influence on non-exclusive libraries if you're directing a lot of traffic to them. There's kind of this window of time where it's like you get an upload, it gets approved in a lot of different ways, like through their quality control process. Well, once it hits the marketplace, a lot of time there's some momentum and buzz that can start from that can start to build. But you can also take a little bit more power of your own ability to let traffic flow to those marketplaces through doing music videos and your own kind of marketing things on social media is one way to do it on just the internet side of things. But you can also in the real world pick up your phone and call different advertising agencies, media creators, and people that are in that industry locally, and then send them a link to your portfolio, to your on Pond 5, I think they call it like just your storefront, and it just has all your music and everything. You can just send a quick link, sometimes affiliate links in the bottom in this description will be affiliate links because that's the internet. That's how the internet works anymore. But like yeah, and so you can start taking those ideas, taking those projects from your hard drive, start getting them into the publishing world, start getting that music, making supplemental income as a revenue stream for you. You can also then, the other part of the question was, well, how do you work with other producers if you aren't super sophisticated when it comes to like mixing, mastering, producing? Maybe you only play like guitar, for example, but you don't know how to do FL Studio or any of the DAWs that are out there. It's like, well, you can start hooking up with different producers or you can start to, just sell samples. You can just start recording yourself. You can just start making videos. Also, you can start checking out people that are already in the game, start commenting and, stuff on their channel. There's lots of opportunities to start to network with people on the internet, especially if you're in a part of the country that it's like, well, there's not a music culture within 20 miles of me. There's no places to jam, there's no places to record, there's none of this. Well, it's so easy anymore to set up a home studio, not super expensive. For me, with the guitars, doing guitar stuff in FL Studio, all you need is an interface, and those are a couple $100. And basically, all an interface is let you plug your guitar into the interface, and then the interface goes into your computer. And you just need a computer that has decent amount of RAM. But other than that, you don't have a bunch invested in it. It's really one of those things that the prices come down a lot. And gives you the ability then to, I'm going to record this guitar sample. I'm going to just make a stem, which, a stem is just a, one line of guitar track, and then I can use that. I can email that stem to another producer and they can use it. I can make a sample pack. There's so many things you can do to kind of network with people in today's music business, the new music business or whatever, that there's not really the excuses of like, well, I don't live in LA, I don't live in New York, I don't live in Nashville, I don't live in these music hubs. Well, you can still start to use your own home studio, and you can call like Sweetwater's, they do a really good job of setting up what you need to get into home recording. But if you're not into the home recording, but you still have all these ideas and all these like tracks that you've already created just sitting around, well, you can even get on like stuff like Fiverr. That's a good example of like, oh, I need somebody to mix this and master this for me. Get on Fiverr, see if you can find somebody who do it on a reasonable budget. I was on Fiverr for a while, mixing and mastering gigs or whatever. It just kind of depends on what you're trying to accomplish. And so hopefully that's helpful to start getting you on the path of taking those old concepts, those old ideas, and getting some supplemental income through music licensing. But, it's a pretty deep rabbit hole. I have a playlist dedicated to independent music and music licensing and publishing for anybody that's wanting to get a little bit more information. I also have a website. I think the link's somewhere on my YouTube channel, michaelmusco.com if it's not, and you can search through some of those more in-depth tips and tricks and more language when it comes to licensing and publishing and stuff that's useful. And so with that being said, hopefully that answered your question and potential questions from other people that might stumble across this video. But yeah, it's definitely something doable. It's something that you can start doing today, and it's something you can do with a lot of these ideas that are just sitting around anyway, just collecting dust on your hard drive. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys liking, sharing, subscribing, all the social networking stuff. I appreciate your support. Until the next video, God bless.